All right, how we doing, everybody? Been a little bit since I've seen you. I'd like to start out with a little remembrance and appreciation of Mr. Irsay, the Colts, and Jim Irsay. Mr. Irsay gave me my first opportunity in the NFL, and I'm sort of always grateful for that. I've worked for a bunch of different organizations, and every one of them's different. Every one of them does it different, but I've always appreciated sort of the family atmosphere here with the Colts. They treated me really well personally, and like I said, always sort of have appreciated that and been grateful for that. I know we're all excited for Carly, Casey, and Kaylin to carry on the tradition their father created, and we're excited for the upcoming season. So with that, I will open up. You guys have at it.
Jim, one more on Jim Irsay. Do you remember just your first interaction, just getting that first chance? Kind of, can you take us through? That was long ago.
I was such a young coach. You could find me in the back of a bunch of meeting rooms, in the back of some, I'm lucky to say, a lot of winning locker rooms back then. I was a young coach for a team that was, these guys were winning a ton of games, and I was lucky enough to get put in that situation. So to watch Mr. Irsay sort of lead the group, whether it was through a speech or through a comment or just shaking hands with everybody, was always an exciting moment for us. We were pushing and striving to be our best, to do the best, and sort of attacking, all those goals, winning playoff games and going deep into playoff runs. And he was right there, sort of leading the charge. And as a young coach, that was really cool to see.
We've heard from a lot of players that Carly we've all seen her on the sidelines and everything, but she's also dropped in on meetings and things like that. As a coach, how much do you appreciate having someone in her position who wants to get it?
Yeah, it's been really cool. She's been in a ton of different, like I said, meetings, practices around, a lot of the stuff that we do as coaches. You don't often get, people in those roles in those meetings. She's asking questions, trying to learn a ton about different things, and then also sort of teaching us things about different aspects of the game. She's been great to work with, great to be around. It's been a great few years of that, and been fun having her in a ton of different meetings and hearing her input. And she's very, very knowledgeable, but very interested in gaining that knowledge. That's how she's gotten to this spot. So it's been really, really, really cool.
Jim, I imagine you watched a lot of film with Daniel Jones when you guys were considering him, but now that he's been in the building for these couple months, what are there some new things that you learned?
Yeah, he's been just excellent in meetings, practice preparation. We're sort of learning our defensive scheme together and working through some of that stuff with him as you go that route as a coaching staff in a quarterback or a quarterback room. Ideas get created, ideas get thought of. We have those discussions. Do we want to try that today? Do we want to do that? Can we put that in? Can we adjust this route a certain way? Those are common discussions in quarterback rooms around the league. So to hear his ideas and his thoughts and have him be a part of that has been really, really interesting. He puts in the work sort of early and late. He's out there communicating with his teammates, trying to put his best foot forward and have his best practice while also sort of leading the group. So been a good start. We got a lot of work left to do, and he knows that, and we all know that. He's done a nice job of coming in and putting the work in, preparing to go sort of execute in practice. And these days in OTAs, you have usually about 3 practices a week. So you get 3 really good opportunities to prepare and execute in practice. And then, when you do that well a few times in a row, builds a little confidence. You're able to go get a little bit more aggressive. And we've seen a little bit of that as we've gone through the weeks.
Jim, did you have any? You knew of Daniel Jones before you got here, but have you seen something different? Have you learned something different, or is this sort of what you anticipated?
Well, we did our due diligence, calling around, background type stuff. Some of us know people that have worked with him or been around him or coached him or played with him, and we were sort of asking all those questions and trying to dig in, because with any player we bring in here, we try to do the background and make sure we know sort of what kind of guy we're bringing in, what his work habits are like, preparation, leadership, communication, teamwork, all that good stuff. Daniel had a lot of good good notes coming through that, but we're always interested when you get a guy in the building, what do you see? He's been as advertised with the work habits and the preparation and going about his business, just day in, day out consistency, which has been great. It's obviously early. It's I don't know if you call it spring anymore, but it's about the end of sort of the spring season here for us as an NFL team. We'll come back in training camp, and gosh, we'll learn a ton about him, but everybody on our team. That'll be a really, really fun process. But he's done a great job thus far, and really sort of lived up to the billing of those type of things.
You said you were calling around. This was after you all had signed him, just to get like.
No, as you're doing prep, as you're evaluating a free agent class or a draft class or any of those things, as a coaching staff, we watch tape, we write up the film, we have our thoughts on the player that we see on tape, but we like going into the weeds a little bit on what kind of person he is and his work habits and his consistency and all those things. So whether it's having someone that's been on staff when he's been playing, or just someone he's played with that we respect, in this league you end up knowing a bunch of people, and they know you and they know them, and you're able to get a feel for a lot of guys that you bring onto your team, because you want to make sure you're doing the right thing for the organization that way.
We talked about some areas of growth for him. What do you see specifically with that? When he got here, he said there were some steps he needed to take as a player. What would you pinpoint as areas he needs to grow in?
Right now, area number one is sort of focusing on learning and mastering the offense that we have. We've got some different verbiage. We've got some obviously different teammates that he's working with. For a quarterback, you want to have mastery of the information, and when you hear something the first time, you learn it, and I think as you rep it, as you refine it, as you dive into the details on it, at a certain point you master it. I don't think any NFL team is mastering their offense during the spring. It's going to come. It's going to be a part of a process, especially if you're a new player in that offense. So that's a very big part of any quarterback preparing for their role in the upcoming season. He's working hard on that. Other than that, we're working on developing him as a player the same way we are everybody, and everybody's got their little things. Quarterback-wise, we can sort of harp on a bunch of different technique things, which I don't want to individualize here in this situation. But we're working through a bunch of stuff. The most important thing is sort of learning our offense, learning his teammates, and then us as a coaching staff doing a good job of sort of putting those guys in a good position to do that over the next couple months, especially when we get to training camp.
It's unfortunate what AR is going through, but the silver lining, Daniel's getting more work. Is it going to sort of accelerate his simulation into the offense or not?
It's the reps are really, really important. I think the truth of the matter is we were going to get a bunch of reps for both of those guys. Daniel's still going to receive a bunch of reps. I think that bunch versus bunch number is probably a little bit more, but not a ton. He's going to get a little more work with the first group, which is important when you're getting to know your receivers and working with your offensive line and all those things. So there will be some benefits there for him for sure. It is unfortunate for Anthony, but it's part of the game, and Anthony's been doing a really good job staying involved, staying mentally locked in, and working like crazy to get the mental reps out there, which is what he can do at this moment.
Does that mean that Riley Leonard is going to benefit and get more reps?
Yeah, the reps are going to go. The reps are going to sort of get maneuvered around in the quarterback room. Anytime you have an injury at any position, other guys in that room are going to pick up a few reps. Riley's going to get a few extra reps. Jason Bean's going to get a few extra reps. I'm going to say the word rep a lot of times today, but any rep that we can get a young player, we're really excited about. It's good. It's great for a quarterback, but shoot, I'm excited about young receivers and young offensive linemen, everybody getting reps. So reps have a lot of value, and for a Riley Leonard, a Jason Bean, any of these guys, a Tyler Warren, I'm a young player, I get an extra rep or two, that's going to be good for me, and I think it's going to be good for Riley to have a few extra reps.
A.D. Mitchell, we talked to him earlier. He seems like he's in a good headspace, but look, I mean, he does need to take a step, right? So what specifically do you need him to do this year to be that player you guys think he can be?
Yeah, AD's had an exciting start to the offseason. He's been really playing good football out there, getting open, making catches. It's a consistency thing, like Shane's talked about with our offense, with our team, with a lot of our guys. It's attacking each day with consistency, going out there and if you're A.D. Mitchell and you have some really good ability to go get open and make great catches, well, that's going to be the expectation day in, day out. And he's done a really nice job. He's had a great attitude attacking this spring. He's had some opportunities in practice, and he's made the most of those things, and those will keep coming. As we go through a training camp, you guys will know, like, guys will get a bunch of different reps with a bunch of different groups and several different quarterbacks sometimes. And that's a lot of times where you as a receiver can make your impact, because as you keep making those plays, as you consistently make those plays, you can be relied on to make those plays. The quarterbacks are going to be excited to give you the opportunities to make those plays because they know, shoot, there's my 20-yard completion. I can hit A.D. Mitchell on this deep out route right here. He's going to be open. He's going to make that play. He's going to get his feet in bounds. It's a consistency thing, which, like I said, he's doing an excellent job right now. We're going to push our entire offense to be extremely consistent with how we work the rest of this mini camp, but then all of training camp. We're looking for guys that sort of day in, day out are doing really, really good work, giving their best, and executing at the best that they have the ability to do. And like I said, AD's been really, really good thus far, and you guys have always sort of heard me betting on AD. I'm still betting on AD, but we're gonna keep pushing him to have great practices every single day. And shoot, we want him to make every play. I want him to make every play. He wants to make every play. We're gonna keep pushing him that direction, see where we end up.
Jim, Shane said that one of the biggest reasons why he brought in Lou and for this defense, because it's one of the defenses that he had some of the most troubles going up against in terms of game action. Now that you're seeing it every day, how much do you think that's helping the overall offense become more sharp because you're seeing it, the tough scheme day in, day out in practice?
Yeah, we're working through a bunch of different looks, whether it be certain different front structure, certain different pressure packages that are really beneficial for us as an offense, and it's going to continue to be that way through training camp. I think when you get stressed in different ways, offensively, schematically, you have to figure out ways to solve those problems, solve those stresses, whether it's just, sort of our protection unit picking up a blitz, or it's us as a coaching staff finding a schematic way to put our guys in a position to have a shot at success on a play. Those things stress you, and those things make you better. Ultimately, we think that's going to make us better as an offense. We just did a big old long walkthrough. There was a ton of different looks, a ton of different things going on. A lot of things for our guys to try to maybe pick up a blitz or block a run play the right way and communicate the right way versus a different front, those types of things. That's only going to make us better as we approach the fall. There's a long way to go to get there, but it's a good opponent schematically for us to really work through some different stuff. Then obviously our guys on defense play so hard that they're gonna work us physically as well. So it's gonna be a great finish to the spring and a great training camp.
One last, what did you guys see with Desmond Ritter to bring him in to see what he's got?
Yeah, Desmond's been around the league a little bit, played a little bit, really respected guy in different locker rooms. I think goes about his business the right way. Just an opportunity for us to get him in here and let him work a little bit individual, maybe a couple reps here or there, kind of see what all he's got. And that's one of the benefits of a veteran mini camp like this. You have the opportunity to do that at some different positions, and we were excited to get him in here and let him kind of compete with these other guys and throw a few balls in individual quarterbacks and kind of see what he's made of. So, all right, appreciate y'all.